What's up, y'all? One Piece, One Life here, and guys, it's a break week. We all know what that means, and it's batch review time. So without further ado, real quick, here it is, chapters 1104 to 1106. We coming in hot and we doing it fast. Let's go. But before we get going anywhere, y'all need to do the 3 things that you know and love. Like the video, subscribe to the page for more One Piece content just like this, and share it around with all your friends who love One Piece. Let's get it going. So obviously, we're coming off the back of chapter 1103, and that was the amazing chapter where Kuma came back and saved Bonnie and was ready to swing. Also, just before we start, can we really give props to my man Shuji? I mean, this rat has been through a lot, but we happy for him, you know? So as I was saying, we start back up with that punch ready, and can I just say, this has to be one of the most gorgeous panels that I have ever seen in One Piece, period. Like the raw emotion that you feel when you just see the connection, you see the steam coming off of Kuma, you see the impact, like, wow. Like, I know I'm not the only one to say this, but genuinely could rival Luffy's punch of Charlos. Kuma sent Saturn flying so far through all those buildings, bro broke off one of his horns. It seems like this was the unprecedented event that the narrator was talking about back when the event was actually starting. And all I can say to that is, Grand Fleet advocates, you're in the mud. So we get Vegapunk mentioning that he didn't actually install a self-destruct button because, you know, that would be overkill. So instead, what he did was just create a deactivate button where Kuma's body would just shut down. So either way, the fact that Kuma's body is actually moving is incredulous. And then he says something that, guys, I can't lie, it scared me. Vegapunk hypothesizes that the reason that Kuma may be moving around might be because of his Buccaneer heritage, because the Buccaneers ... Now I'm not gonna lie, guys, to me that is a scary thought because it weakens the overall message of this arc. This entire arc, what's been reinforced over and over and over again. It's the theme that no matter how much you try to take away something's will, something's independence, a vestige of that will or independence is still going to remain in that thing. You can never completely suppress something's feelings. It's literally the first thing that Vegapunk Lilith says to the Straw Hats at all when they first get there, when she's talking about the Robo Shark. We see it again with the Seraphim, where the Seraphim have personality traits based off of the people that they came from, they were based on. Then again with the whole cloning situation with Stussy, where she herself is even wondering what it means to be a clone and do I have my own kind of will. Before, of course, it being literally the entire arc of Kuma's flashback, which I believe to be probably one of, if not the greatest sequence of storytelling in One Piece history. So yeah, I don't know exactly how to feel about that, but we'll see what the answer ends up being. But anyways, Kuma hugs his daughter, even though he's not, I don't think, consciously aware, but it doesn't matter. He still hugs his daughter. Bonnie still finally, you have that reuniting. And then you also have a bigger reuniting of their entire family, right? Because all 5 of them, it's the first time that Vegapunk, Bonnie, Kuma, Sentomaru, and Kizaru have all been in the same place in like, what, 2.5 years? So we see the whole, of course, love you, I love you, daddy, like, I've seen all the messages, thank you so much for everything you do. And I gotta say, Bonnie has to be like the smartest child in the story, and it's not even close. Like, the emotional maturity that she has at the age of 12 to comprehend these things, I can't lie, it's low-key more than the mental maturity of some of my friends that I know, and we're 20. But then, of course, boom goes the rubble. You have Saturn climbing out of it with Conqueror's Haki just flashing about. And nah, can I just say, this is how I know that this bro, Saturn, he's not real. Because how's he gonna come back? Like, ain't nothing happened. Like, he didn't just get sent flying through 3 buildings. He came back immediately saying, Vegapunk, I'm still waiting on your answer. What's going on? And Vegapunk funny as hell too, because Vegapunk out here talking about, well, you know, if you're a romantic, you can chalk it up to the power of love. That's just the game. Nah, the power of love is crazy. And it's hilarious because it's funny. People laugh, haha, when it happens in One Piece. But God forbid it happens in Fairy Tail. But then yeah, Saturn starts to literally regrow his entire hand, his body, like everything is healing himself, and we just don't understand exactly what his powers are. But as he goes to attack Kuma and Bani, it is Sanji. It's not Luffy, not Zoro, not anyone else. Sanji pulls up and kicks that spider leg away. Yes, it's finally time. And right after that, Frankie hits him right through the chest with Radical Beam. And I love it. It's about time that those two got the respect that they deserved. Everyone was focused on Luffy and Zoro because, oh, of course, the crew's strongest. No. On top of that, both Sanji and Frankie are the most technologically related of all the Straw Hats, and the ones who have the most closest ties to Vegapunk for obvious reasons. So, just seeing them be prominent in Egghead, it just feels good. In the last part of the chapter, Kizaru kicks Frankie away, and then he and Saturn get ready seemingly to fight. But Stella says the rest of them, all of you get back out of here, go to Labostratum, and I'll stay. As Vegapunk's talking to him, he just turns to Kizaru and is like, man, Kizaru, do you really have to do this? Kizaru just pushes up his glasses talking about man, I should have brought some darker shades. What a cold line. But also, hilarious. And then the end of the chapter is just Saturn ordering officially that Egghead be Buster called. And that just makes me gotta ask, really? A Buster call in 2024? Is that what we're doing? Anyways, as they're starting up with the Buster call, Saturn tells all the other Marines to get out of there and that he and Kizaru are the only ones who are going to stay. My guess is he knows that they're the only ones who can, survive it, since Kizaru's Delver gives him intangibility, and then obviously Saturn has his regeneration. But you can tell that it's serious because even when Dahl questions Kizaru, what should we do? Kizaru cuts her off and it's like, go. The shock on Dahl's face, we know that this is the most serious Kizaru has ever been ever, and it's not in his character at all. Vegapunk and Saturn are talking. Vegapunk's like, please, don't destroy my life's work. Don't destroy everything that's built. Just leave this place alone. That wasn't even your objective originally. And Saturn's just like, I don't care. You broke a world taboo, so that's your problem. And then Saturn goes, oh yeah, I just feel like you should know. All of the scholars that you sent away to be evacuated and everything like that, yeah, I ordered them to be sunk. What? Why is Saturn so toxic? Because he really didn't have to tell Vegapunk that. There was no reason to do that. Now he's just plainly being evil. He's just plainly being a hater. And as a hater, I have to rate it. But as a villain, that's just evil. Nah, Saturn's actually so toxic for that because why does he want nothing but the pure and utter destruction of everything that these people loved and cared about? So anyways, we see, standard Buster Call procedure. The Marines are getting ready to fire. They're escaping to the ships. And the group that Stella had told to get back to the Labostratum is, trying to be on their way there. But of course, Sanji's staying back. He said, I'll go get Vegapunk. And I just love that as a Sanji fan because it just shows my favorite character filling his usual role as the Shadow MVP. So Sanji calls Nami and we get a check-in on where all the Straw Hats and I guess satellites are at. So we know Sanji and Luffy are still in the Fabrio phase, with Sanji being like, I don't know where Luffy went, but he'll be fine. So we have the Weakling Trio and Robin, along with Edison. They're all in that main control room in the Labostratum. Interesting though, we do see that Robin is a lot more injured than we originally thought. To me, that's interesting because it's are we ever gonna get a explanation on where Robin's injuries came from, Oda? You could even have just shown a small panel that, yeah, Robin in her Gigantafleur form fought York. We would all accept that. Oh, and now some of you may be wondering, where is Zoro? Don't worry, I'll tell you. He is still fighting Base Lucci. Yeah, Base Lucci. As a Zoro hater, this really gratifies my soul because they said this man Zoro was so bad that we had to go tell Jinbei to save him. Meanwhile, Brook is just actually the most adaptable Straw Hat because his powers can be used for a surprising variety amount of things. Because basically what we have is Brook froze over the island clouds, which is, I guess, how the Sunny's gonna be able to escape now. That is gliding on it. So meanwhile, you downstairs, you just have, buildings crashing down, everything, and Vegapunk's just on his knees like, why? This is my life's work. This is how I know Kizaru's not. He sees Frankie's group try to use the vacuum rocket to get out of there and immediately goes for the lightsaber. Now, as they're all in the air, Saturn is like, blow up this family, kill them, like, I'm done with this. So all the pacifistas start aiming at, the sky to attack all of them. As they're in the air again, Kuma, the seemingly lifeless robot, picks his daughter up like this and shields her. How does this make any sense if he's completely lifeless? Like, it's almost zombie-like. Like, he's just solely working off of the instinct of, this is Bonnie, I need to protect her. So they finally did find Luffy, and bro was just eating, which I guess is usual. That means next chapter, we know he's gonna be ready to go. But that really brings the question, who fed him? Popular theories include Caribou, of course, because he always does that. He just has food on him. But I would be remiss if I don't revitalize this picture right here. That's it. From now on, we're calling him Kizaruber. That's it. And then at the end of the chapter, the vessel is blown up by who? I mean, my immediate thought was obviously the Blackbeard pirates because we already saw them on their way. Other people's popular picks included, Dragon, all of the revolutionaries, the Grand Fleet. But all of that was made irrelevant by the next chapter. So as that next chapter starts up and we see the ship pulling up back on Egghead, Luffy's finally full, after stuffing his face with KFC from Kizaruber, and he starts going back into Gear 5. So as the Buster Call's happening, we get what I'm gonna just say I think is the greatest Vegapunk character moment. So Vegapunk tells Atlas to tell something to Bonnie. Atlas says, Roger, I'm on it. Whispers in Bonnie's ear, and Bonnie, hearing that, says, okay, I'll try it, and screams, Daddy, please, don't kill us, help us escape instead. And you know what? The pacifista do. The pacifista start turning around and just firing at the Marines. So basically what just happened here is Oda made Bonnie the founder from Attack on Titan, where now she can just manage this entire army of cyborg death war machines. One thing it does do is interest me on the parallels between Shirahoshi and Bonnie, because both pink hair that both control forces greater than them. It's interesting. I mean, maybe it plays on the theme of ancient versus modern weaponry. But more so, this actually works really well as a Vegapunk moment, as I said before, because for the longest time, people were calling Vegapunk a fraud of, well, why are the Seraphim and the Pacifista, why can they be controlled so easily by the Gorosei? Like, you could easily have just said, oh, we're making you the highest power, not. Obviously, that was not refuted by the fact that we know that Jay Garcia is a scientist too, so he would have figured it out. But on top of that, the fact that he still had a final failsafe that didn't come from trying to overplot the government or whatever. It just came from the love that he feels for both Bonnie and Kuma. So then, just as Stella's thinking all that, Saturn comes and literally pierces him through the chest. Because of course Saturn's gonna get his lick back. He says, guard dog Kizaru, go and kill all of them, I've had enough of this. And Kizaru immediately obeys, going up and firing his Yasakani jewels at all of them. Then he goes up with his lightsaber, says that he wants to cut both Kuma and Bonnie together. Like, this isn't gonna hurt Bonnie, I promise. Like, I don't know, is this his own form of retribution, fairness, whatever? Which, I mean, I guess it's his own form of trying to make amends, but it's a horrible trade-off, because Kizaru is essentially saying, here, you die, but you die really quick, really painlessly, cleanly. Hey, how about you don't kill me? How about that? But that's when the man of the hour comes back again. Luffy pulls up in Gear 5 and punches Kizaru down to the ground. Now please, I want everyone to pull up the chapter and look at Kizaru's face here, because he's holding his head like this, like, oh shit, here we go again. Along with that, we get another small reminder that the Iron Giant is being awakened by the Drums of Liberation, by Luffy's Gear 5th. But then we finally get the impactful realization moment for Bonnie that we've been waiting for, which is just Bonnie realizing that Luffy is this Nika figure that she and her family have been worshipping. To me, what's really impactful here is that Kuma, the way that they landed, Kuma's on his back, so Kuma also sees Luffy, even though it's not technically seeing, because obviously the whole no personality thing. But, it's still in a way, Kuma did see Nika. But then at the very end of the chapter, to me and probably everybody else's massive surprise, the people who destroyed the ship were Dory and Bragi. First of all, not a single person expected this. I didn't see a single thing on the internet of somebody saying, oh, what if it's the Giants? So props to Oda for continuing to subvert expectations. Secondly, there's just no way that Elbaf isn't happening now. Even in Jump Festa, Oda said, well, I may be the author, but even I don't think I can stop Luffy from going to where he wants to go. I don't think I can stop him from his path. And their presence here is basically cementing it. The ramifications of this, though, are really interesting because the way that Bragi says it, that we're here to pick up Straw Hat, pick up, it makes it sound like they're saying this was a request from Shanks himself. So the Luffy-Shanks reunion might be closer than we thought. Also, it being them solves two problems at once. First, how they're going to get off the island, because their ship is massive, so their ship can probably easily carry the Thousand Sunny. And secondly, how they're going to get past the Buster Call, because let's be real, the Buster Call is going to be fodder to them. But the last thing to bring up, which I already kind of brought up in a small short, is
how exactly do the Giants know about Sanganika?
People may be asking. Well, I think it's just fairly logical. But what I will say is just wait for Saturday's video, because for the first time ever, I'm doing a Wednesday drop and a Saturday drop in the same week, just because I want to really talk about this while the iron's still hot, and it's a theory, and it's pretty fast, so I can pump it out fairly quickly. But all I will say is, Joy Boy's a giant may have been confirmed. Look out for the theory. Yeah, guys, so that's just the end of the chapters. Break this week. What's coming next? You think that we're immediately going to see the reunion of Luffy with those giants, especially Usopp? How is Usopp going to be affected by seeing these guys? Let me know all that and all your thoughts and everything else in the comments. Now that's the end of the video, guys. But before we go, please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this, and share it around with all your friends who love One Piece. Remember, I'm trying to make a community, but I need your help to do it. That's going to be all from me. I'll talk to you guys soon, and always remember, One Piece, One Life. Also, if you're a big Usopp gets massive development in Elbaf fan, I'm a worry for you, because if Egghead is anything to go by with the way that Frankie's being treated, it's gonna be minimal.